All right, if you're watching this video, that means you followed the link correctly on your worksheet and have been to my YouTube channel. In this video, it's called the Tank Move Intro. I'm going to walk you through how to open the first program and how to set it up, how to link your robot, how to download to your robot, and how to change the program to make some extensions and adjustments for future use. The first thing you need to do is make sure your robot is on before we get too far along. It will need to be on to hook that up to your computer. Once we get ready to go, you're going to come over to the left menu and click on Tutorials, Robot Educator. We're then going to go to Basics Driving Base, because that's what we built. This menu here is going to be where all of our main programming stuff starts. For this one, we're going to click on Tank Move. So we're at Tutorials, Basics Driving Base, Tank Move. We're going to click Open. We're going to load up that software program. Every single program, when you start it, we'll start with page 1 of the guide. It's kind of a course guide here. Always watch the video. It's going to show you what your program should do. So this is for Tank Move. Our first step is going to be called a point turn, where it spins in place. The second is a pivot turn, where it pivots around the right wheel that does not move at all. The last is a driving turn, where both wheels go forward. The right wheel is a slower speed than the left, making it turn to the right. Your inside wheel is slower. We're going to go up here next to the arrow and click to page 2. Normally, if we have to add sensors or anything, there would be extra building directions. We have already built the driving base, so we don't need to click on that. We're going to go to page 3. Page 3 is going to show both the video and the programming. So when the programming, if you click on this first tab, that is going to be the point turn right in place, so it's spinning on point. So this shows how to do that. There's a 1-second pause in between. Then you do the pivot turn around the right wheel. See, the right motor is at 0 on here. That means it's not turning at all, so it pivots. Another 1-second pause. This is the driving turn where I talked about during the intro video. The left wheel's at 50% power, the right wheel's at 25% power. That allows it to drive forward still, but to turn. And it's doing that for 2 rotations, which we'll talk about later. So there it drives forward and turn just like a car would do. Once you go through that and you know what each one's supposed to do, you're going to go to page 4. Page 4 actually gives you the base program. So it tells you what type of block you need to have. That's a move tank and set to degrees. You got the wait block with a 1-second timer, another move tank set to degrees, and then a move tank set to rotations. So it tells you exactly what type of block you need to have, and the blue circles indicate what you need to change. If it's too small to see, use the plus sign on the magnifying glass, and then you can drag that up and down, left, right, so that you can see everything on there. So we're going to be taking the blocks from down the bottom and putting them up here. So to do that, we're going to hide this for a second, because we're going to need 3 tank move blocks and 2 1-second timers, the wait blocks. So what we're going to do is hide this. That is this dark gray button that says Close Content Editor. Do not click the arrow, the pencil. If you click that, you might accidentally delete this information, and you need that information. So you're going to click Close Content Editor, and it's hidden. It's just right here behind the book again. So we're going to come to this green action sequence blocks. We need to get the one right here that says Move Tank. It's got the 2 motors and the levers. So we're going to click once and let go of the mouse button. Just bring it up, and you'll see how it auto drops in there. We're going to do 3 of them right in a row. Yes, I know we need wait blocks in between, but we'll do that here in a second. So we have our 3 motor blocks. We're going to go to the flow, the orange. Here's a wait timer. We click, and it will drag and drop right in between. And do that again for this one. Okay, now that we have our blocks there, we need to set them. So we come back up, click on our guidebook. Our first one, we need to set the change here on the units is to degrees. Then we're going to do power left motor 40. The right motor is negative 40. and it's going to rotate for 685 degrees. So we click on our rotation here, change it to degrees. Our left motor is at 40% power. Our right motor we're putting at negative 40. And that is because it's going to go backward, but at 40% power. That allows it to spin right in place and not actually move anywhere. If the motors are the same numbers, they'll spin at the same speed. Now, just the right one is negative because it's going backward. We need to change our degrees rotated to 685. We know that 360 degrees is one full rotation. Well, one rotation would not be enough to do this, so we have to spin 685 degrees. So that is our first one, and we have a 1-second timer just like the program. Let's check back to our content editor for this. So our second one here is going to degrees again. 40 on the left motor again. Our right motor is at 0 because it's going to pivot around that. And we're going 1,380 degrees, so 1,380. So we're going to change this again to degrees. 40 on the left, 0 on the right, and 1,380 for a number of degrees rotated on that left motor to get it to go all the way around. We have a wait block. In our last one, we're going to keep on rotations. 50% power on the left, 25 on the right, and then 2 rotations. So it defaults to rotations. We have our 50. Our right motor is going to 25. We change that to 2. The reason this is important because it's still going forward. They're both positive numbers, meaning the motor's going forward, but the right motor is going slower, so it's going to turn to the right. If you want it to turn to the left, you would make the left motor a smaller number than the right motor, and that 2 rotations. Once you have this built, we need to hook up your robot. So make sure your robot is on, and you're going to come down here to this refresh button, and you're going to refresh the list of robots. Right now, mine should be the only robot that's on there. So waiting for it. If it doesn't show up right away, refresh it again. Sometimes it takes a second for it. You can also just double check to make sure Bluetooth is on your robot. Sometimes when there's so many computers on or robots hooking up in class, it doesn't always show up right away. So I'll give it a couple moments. There's mine right there, Mr. Red 32. You're going to click on that, and it should connect right away because you synced them the previous class. It'll show in the Bluetooth that that box is filled up. That means that it is ready to go. Now, once we've got that built, you need to download it to your computer. Only click the download arrow, the top button here on the right corner. On your worksheet, I have the downloading file little helper there that shows you that. Only click this one. If you click these other two, the download and run or the run, what could happen is it could run and your robot will go flying off your table, and then you have a broken robot and you get to pay to replace it, which we'd rather not do. So once you're going to do that, once you have that downloaded, you click on that, you hear that sound from your robot, and if you use the information sheets that you got for class, it'll show you how to access that file and how to run it. Please make sure you only run it on the floor. Okay, so once you've got that program successfully run, I'm going to ask you to do a couple different challenges and changes to it. I'm going to have you make it do this whole entire program in reverse. So make it go backward, not reverse order, but actually do the motions backwards. So it would go the opposite directions. So you'd have to flip those around. Forward movements become negative movements become forward movements, etc. You'll have to do a 90-degree turn. Drive around a stool in a square and then drive around a stool in a smooth circle using the driving turn like this one, and then also get it to drive around your table. To do those, you're going to have to make it go straight. All of these tank moves are turns. Easy way to make it go straight is look at your motor power. So if I wanted this first block to go straight, I'll just get rid of these at the time. So you would keep those on there for now. If If I want to make this go straight, right now this motor is going backward. If I want it to go in a straight line, both motors have to be at the same power level. So I can make it go straight with the same numbers. This third slot tells you how far it's going to go or how long it's going to do that action. You could do it in degrees if you want. It's a little easier to start with if you change it to rotations. You could also change to seconds, what you're doing with time. Rotations is pretty easy to get a hold of. You can also go down, so I want a 1.25 rotations. I could go to the hundredth place on that to make it more accurate. So to go straight, you need to have the same power on both the left and the right motors. To turn left, you would do the opposite of before. You would either have it left is negative, right's positive at the same value to pivot to the left or to point turn. Left would be 0, right would be 40 to do a pivot turn, or you could do a driving turn where it's 15, 25, or 20 and 40, whichever. That's completely up to you. You need to practice that and make it happen, okay? Anytime you make a change or an update to your program, you need to click download again to re-download the file to your robot, and then again follow the steps on your worksheet, going to the second tab, click on the file folder, then click on program once it's on the floor and run it. Okay, so make sure you're using both this video and the file folder or the worksheet to help you figure out how to do this. When you're all done, today we will not save. We will come back to this tomorrow. Today we will not save, so you'll just click the red X and close the program, and when it asks you to save, click no. You need to make sure you follow the directions on your sheet for turning off your robot and make sure it goes onto the storage shelf in the correct location. Remember, only click the download button and only run your robot on the floor. Watch out when you're running it so you don't kick it or no one else kicks it by mistake. Check the video again if you need help. Check your sheets if you need help. And ask your neighbors if you need help. Good luck. Work hard. Stay on task.